Yo, yo, yo. It's your boy DJ Mark J. It's DJ's Talk. It's episode number 4. I'm gonna say leading into a successful episode number 4, because 1, 2, and 3 have been grand to me. People have been asking questions, enjoying the entertainment. Entertainment fun is what it is, educating and also being educated. We sit here, we let DJs talk, we let DJs vibe, we let the people ask questions, and then we just do what we do on a fine Tuesday night in the city. I'm DJ Mark J. You all know. If you would dig into the comments right now, dig into the comments. I ask that everyone please just check in. Let me know that you are here, that you're out there, where you're from, DJs, clients, past clients, people that have questions. I want you guys to check in real quick as we let everyone go ahead and join in. And before I bring my special guest on, and I'm gonna set myself up so I can see who's popping in here, because I need to know what's going on. And y'all be capping on me sometimes. People that are outside the timelines, just bring it on in. Now, while we are sitting here, I have a YouTube channel. The YouTube channel is youtube.com/DJ Mark J. Real simple. This will be airing on YouTube only in a couple of weeks. I'm not going to immediately migrate over. I'm just going to gradually migrate over. So I ask that everyone that is watching this, whether you're watching the live broadcast or whether you're watching the repeat broadcast, go to my YouTube channel, YouTube/DJ Mark J. Very simple. It's posted. I just want to migrate everyone over there so we can know in its entirety what's going on and who's going to be watching and tuning in. And I also don't want to close this off to just my followers in the city. I want to open it up to the world, all my DJs, all my people looking for DJs, inquiring my DJ questions. And then again, just kind of not to compete with some of the people that are doing it, but just kind of match levels, because there are levels to it. And this is not the top level. It's not, but it will get there. I promise you. But I see you. What's up, Frank? Frank Nitty. That's my man. Nitty on the beat. DJ Frank Nitty. Post your information up there, because we're gonna make sure that we broadcast each and every person that comes through and shows love to the show, shows love to the channel, and shows love to the city, shows love to the world. And that's enough about me, because I like to dig it in. Like I say, no foreplay. We dig straight in. We dig straight into the meat, straight into the juice. That's what we do. So I know I've had a lot of local guys, my friends, my immediate circle on the show, on the past shows. We've had DJ Flavor, had DJ Nitty, DJ B Sounds. We've had Keisha. We've had an assortment of people. They've been intercity, Richmond and the surrounding areas. But what I wanted to do is bring on a couple of people um, with experience in the game, maturity in the game, that can give us some true knowledge, not so people can take, just my take on it, not so people can take the other guests that have been on the show, but take a wide array of information from someone that just knows the game, has information on the game. And I want to introduce to you my man, Travis, DJ Travis Gales. DJ Travis
What's
Gales.
up?
All right,
How
now,
y'all doing?
before we get started, check his page out, because number one, I look at his page every Sunday. Him along with the other couple of DJs, pop up because I follow them. That's what we do. It's a brotherhood, it's a network, and I'm continuously trying to gain knowledge myself. So check out his page, but I'm going to let Travis tell you a little bit about himself.
Okay. Well, hello everyone. And Mark, thank you again for inviting me. I have been following your progress in terms of your show. I caught a little bit of it last week, and man, I'm just a guy who just love following DJs and following the whole culture. And man, I just want to thank you for bringing me out today. For those of you who don't know, my name is Travis Gales. I'm from Raleigh, Durham, North Carolina. I'm a North Carolina native. I've been DJing for over 42 years. I host a radio show here in Raleigh, Durham every Friday night from 7 p to 10 p on station 90.7 FM. And I've had a lot of years of working in radio, broadcasting as a mixtape artist, account manager, and of course a mobile DJ. And so I right now towards the latter part of my DJ career, and the more I try to say I'm going to slow down and quit and turn in my guns, more opportunities come my way. Just recently, the city of Raleigh listed me as one of the honorees during the 50th hip hop celebration, the 50th anniversary celebration. And again, it was the city of Raleigh that honored me, and so it just it was just something I really didn't expect, and something I didn't seek. It was just something I had put my head down and worked, and lo and behold, I looked up and saw that there were some people in the city that was paying attention, and they showed their appreciation last week. I wish I had my trophy to show you, but my trophy is at my job, and so so we had a great celebration here in Raleigh, and man, I'm just so blessed, and it's inspired me to do more stuff. So now I was at a point where I was getting ready to wind it on down. Now I got a lot to live up to, and so I'm looking forward to branching out and meeting new people. And Mark, I'm glad you brought me on board tonight, so I can expand a little bit out to the other parts of the country, and not just be here in North Carolina my entire career.
Right. Well, good. Great introduction, my brother.
Yes, thank you.
Now, just to give you some insight on how I discovered Travis, DJ Software and Tech.
DJ Software and Tech Talk.
Okay, Tech Talk. That's just me searching and gravitating to people that are just sharing knowledge, and then are inviting people to have input on what's going on, because DJs, like I said, DJs talk, and music is real. It's real. It's just amazing how many people that we touch with the things that we do. But DJs also want to learn. It's a business. It's not just us playing music. It's not just us pushing buttons. It's a business, and that's one of the main reasons why I wanted to talk to you, or have you share some of the knowledge, because one of the instrumental pieces one of the biggest pieces I took from the podcast and stuff that you do, or the lives that you do on Sundays, was the marketing piece.
Yeah.
Now, I preach marketing. However, it hit different when you were talking about it.
Yeah.
So I want a lot of people that I know to kind of get your input, your knowledge, your say-so as a mature DJ in the game on the marketing piece that we call DJing.
Okay. Well, great then. I'm glad you come to on Sunday mornings that I host my podcast on the group on Facebook, and it's a Facebook group. It hasn't been transitioned into YouTube, but it kind of started innocently when I joined the group. What had happened was as I mentioned before, I started DJing in the early '80s. I was your typical street tape DJ in high school, and I couldn't afford a lot of DJ equipment at the time, but I had my boombox, of course, and I had that pause button. And what I would do is I would listen to that in my little hometown, North Carolina. I live in Raleigh now, but I grew up in a rural part of North Carolina where we didn't have a lot of radio stations. And what I would do, I would have my boombox and my finger on the pause button, that when that song came on, I would hit the pause button and record the song right off the radio. And then my friends, they would come over with their boombox, and they would set their boombox, about 7 inches from my boombox, and we would make and I would sit and make mixtapes all day. And so this was before duplicate cassettes and that sort of thing. And so I had my little hustle going on until I was able to afford, a pawn shop mixer and a pawn shop turntable, and so I was primarily a mixtape artist, pretty much in the '80s until I got to North Carolina Central, and it was there I got my first gig, and then I was DJing for the Groove 5 Grooves, And then that led into DJing for the AKAs and the Alphas. And then and while I was at Central, I was in the Central Marching Eagle Band. And so that was my built-in audience. And so we would have frat parties before the games, and then the president of the student government president was my band brother. And then that gave me access to the university. So when we would have a pool party, we would have a party on the yard. I would DJ in the cafeteria on Fridays before a football game. And the thing is, back in the 80s, there weren't any other, I'm 58, there weren't any other DJs on campus. I was the only DJ on campus. And I talk in my podcast that I do on Sundays, I talk about the different eras of DJing. And so because so many guys has gotten into DJing now that they don't really actually know where it has come from.
Right.
And so when I got into DJing, the first era of DJing was who had the biggest sound system.
Right.
So if you didn't have 4 subs and 8 mid ranges and a row of tweeters and some tomato can lights and a whole crew to set your system up, you wasn't a real DJ. So just having I was embarrassed to have my little 2 belt driven turntables and my boombox as my speaker. I mean, that I wasn't, and I was selling hundreds of mixtapes, every other week, but I wasn't a real DJ because I didn't have
about the boom. About the boom.
Yeah, whoever had the biggest system was the best DJ. And then the 80s came about the skills as Jazzy Jeff and hip hop came in, Run DMC and Jam Master Jay. And so every rap group had their special DJ, and that DJ had his little thing. And all I had to do is come up with my little thing, and that made me official at that point.
Okay.
And so it was right in that time where you can get away with having 2 speakers in the sub and a little, just like remember Martin Lawrence, you had to, if you had to book me to DJ your house party, you had to come and get me.
That's what's up.
So you had to come and get me, and so it would be a caravan of my friends in college. They would, take my speakers, and then you had, at that time, you had crates of records and stuff. And so I did that throughout the 80s, and then but my mixtape was really the foundation of how I was making money, and that's how I got known, just for making mixtapes. And then it wasn't until the late 80s that FM radio stations started coming on, and then some of the stations were putting on DJs on the radio where you would submit your mixtape, and then they would play your mixtape that night, because they weren't going to allow you to play your records. You had to play, the guy you submitted your tape, and then the guy on the air, a guy by the name of Smokehouse, he had his first mix show, and then you would submit your tape. And I was sort of already well known as a mixtape artist. And that kind of got my feet wet into radio. And then, but I still wasn't like a mobile, because when I was coming up, there weren't wedding DJs. There weren't a market to be a wedding DJ, man. I was married in 1989, and we didn't have a DJ at our wedding. We had a woman that played the piano as my wife came down the aisle, and my cousin sang a song, and then she played the piano on our way out of the church, and then we went down to the reception hall. We ate dinner, and there wasn't a DJ at the end of the night. And so the concept of being a mobile DJ just wasn't a thing, unless, we had a guy that I went to high school with. He was sort of like the hometown DJ that DJ for high schools. But when I got to North Carolina Central, I mean, if it couldn't fit in the back of my roommate's Pinto, that's about as far as I could go. And but I did start doing little clubs in Durham, and for different fraternities and sororities. And then I did get a connection with the radio station, and I hosted a mix show on K97.5 in the early 90s, like right when everything was starting to pop off for hip hop. And because in the 80s, hip hop really wasn't on the radio, except in New York and on the big cities, but here in the South, they still was reluctant to play hip hop. It was still pretty much a mixtape market. And then So I got on K97, and even then on K97 in the 90s, we still didn't have live DJs. We still had to, we had to make the mixtape. We're talking about cassettes on the radio. So that was the early 90s, man. And that's when things started popping off. That's when stations started loosening up, playing hip hop. They were still only playing it on Fridays and Saturdays. And then as we got deeper into the 90s, stations started loosening up and started playing a little more West Coast and, a little more Def Jam music and Wu-Tang and Biggie and that kind of thing. So I was on the radio during that era. And so, and then I started being in clubs, but still not as a DJ. Now I'm a radio host, hosting a mix show on the radio, and the club had their own DJ, and I would just come in and I would MC and I would host and that kind of thing. But it still wasn't a market for a wedding DJ like we have now, where it was DJs everywhere. I can still count on my hand the number of DJs in the 90s. Like it was in the 80s, it was basically three DJ. You had the old DJ, the high school DJ, and then you had the white DJ, that DJ for the white folks. So that's pretty much all it was back in those days.
Okay.
And in the 90s, it was kind of the same thing. You had your radio DJ, then you had your club DJ, and then you had a couple of mobile DJs here and there. And so when I got to the late 90s, I got a little too old to be in the club. I was 35, I was a little too old. And had my wife had a couple of kids. And she was like,
perfect age to be in the club, bro.
I know that now, right? But then, let me tell you a funny story. When I was on the radio, probably around 97, and I was probably about 26 or 27, the program director, he came to me one day and said, "Hey, man, you're a little too old to be playing hip hop." And at that time, I agreed with him. I was thinking 25, 26 was too old for hip hop. So when I got to 99, I was like, okay, I'm a little too old for this. I'm gonna kind of pull back, and I still worked in radio, but I kind of wasn't DJing at all. And I'm gonna tell you what did it for me, Mark. This is what really did it for me, because CDs came in the late 90s, and I was an anti-CD person. I was all vinyl till you die. You know what I mean? I was one of these guys that refused to play a CD. It was like, it was no way you was going to get me to play a CD. And I would see guys come in with their little photo albums of these homemade CDs, and they would play. Man, I was looking at that like, no, y'all not going to DJ with that piece of crap, man. You just couldn't
crazy.
get, you couldn't say me. I was like the old cowboy still coming in there with the records.
Look, it's crazy that you say that, because I started getting serious about DJing on a B52 Prodigy B52, 2 CD players.
Okay.
Mixing 2 CD players, similar to what we do now to the controller, but they were CDs. Right. And I had my little book. I used to flip through, but I had a good system. I had it a computerized. I used to with Excel spreadsheet, all the BPMs on a spreadsheet.
Oh,
so I knew exactly where to go. It was a nice little system. But introducing number one. He's past his technical difficulties. He's on mute right now because I see the mute button still pushed. But I got my man DJ Games Bond in the building. And before we dig into
Games, sir,
Games, G-A-I-N.
Gee whiz.
And I went to a Henrico County school. I can spell. I want to introduce you to my man. I'm gonna let him tell you a little bit about himself, and then we're gonna dig into the subject at hand. So talk to the people real quick, Mr. Bond.
Man, this is my first time. Thank you so much for having me, Mr. Mark J. Salute Travis.
Hey, what's up?
Everybody out there. I'm a hip hop, R&B, reggae top 40 DJ. I met Mark about a few years ago. I think I dealt him his first bad beat or something like that. So on those lines, he a poker pro. I don't know, the relation, but you definitely got to have patience playing poker and DJing as well. Song selection, transition, all of that stuff matters. I might be a little younger than those guys. They probably got me by like 15 years. something along those lines. But outside of that, I've been DJing for about 15 years. I'm a mobile DJ, so I do this for a living. And that's pretty much it for me, unless I'm asked any questions.
Okay, well, we're gonna get some questions for you. Now I did notate. I want anyone that has a question out there that's chiming in, put your questions in the post so we can touch base on them, and we can just hit them one by one, two by two, however we decide to do it. But we want to talk marketing. We don't want to stretch it out. We want to dig directly into it. I think that's the most important thing to me. Past DJing in a sense, because Travis, you touched on beginning DJ level, whatever level you can classify that as, level 1, 2, whatever.
Right.
Classify, you talked about being a club DJ, and then you also talked about being a wedding DJ. So can you, and I'm going to say the marketing specialist of the crew, can you touch base on, hit all three of them for me?
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, as I mentioned before, I had kind of quit DJing, but around 28-ish, 29, I realized that these wedding guys, at least I've been hearing these wedding DJs was making a lot of money DJing, at least more money than I was making when I was DJing in the clubs. So I was like, well, hey, I could DJ a little bit. Let me get in on some of the action because, I've gotten 25 years of DJing, and equipment was cheaper and lighter, and people was using laptops. And so I was like, well, hey, I could come there with a laptop and do a skate party or do somebody's backyard cookout with a couple of speakers. Because remember, I'm from the big DJ era, and it was cats making $500-$600, doing birthdays and weddings, in backyards. So I'm like, well, hey, let me get on this. And so I kind of thought that's what I was going to do. So I did what everybody else did. I went on Craigslist, and Facebook was just starting to pop off. So I would make a little ad there. And so all my friends from high school and college, they now in their 40s, and they were calling me up, to do little weddings. And so it was just basically because I was doing what everybody else was doing, just word of mouth. And so that was working for a while. And it was never anything I was trying to do full time. So it was like, okay, word of mouth is the way you make money. But what I realized right away in terms of your word of mouth is that whatever network you're in, like for instance, if you're around high dollar people and they book you to DJ, then more than likely you're going to get a high dollar ticket price. You're going to get a $1,500, $2,000 wedding if you're in those circles, okay? But my word of mouth circles, and I'm glad you allowed me to build up my background. My word of mouth were the people that I was making mixtapes for in the 80s and 90s. The college parties, people I was doing little college parties for $250, $150. The clubs I was doing for $50, $75, $150. That was my word of mouth. So when they were calling me to DJ for their reunions, their 50th birthday, their daughter's sweet 16, they were still viewing me as the guy that you can give, play the ribs and the six pack to. They still had that. I still had that because I was never a mobile DJ. And so the word of mouth might have worked for, Mark Zuckerberg, but it didn't work for me in the circles that I came from. And so I had to change that. And so that's where I had to really dig down and look at what the guys who were making the $2,000 a gig or the $1,000 gig or the $500 gig, I had to see what they were doing versus what I was doing. I had to change the whole mindset of how people perceive me because, again, they perceive me as a mixtape artist and not a mobile DJ, which was something that I had to learn how to do. So that's what
rebranding is the hardest thing to do. That's what.
Yeah. I had to totally rebrand myself.
Yeah.
And so then I was researching, and then Facebook came about. So I was joining all these groups, just getting ideas, learning things from DJs who had been mobile DJs, more consistently in the late 2000s. And as I was learning, I kept figuring out, okay, everybody was sort of having the same problem. Everybody was like, the music is the same. It's too many DJs. everybody's undercutting, all the same issues. Everybody was having pretty much the same issue. And then I realized, I started jotting down notes and I came up with a strategy to change my brand to separate myself from my competitors, my so-called competitors, if you want to call it that. And so that's what led me to do the Sunday morning DJ Software and Tech Talk chat. Is that one, I wanted to document my journey, which I started about 12 years ago, in terms of how I rebrand myself, which turned out to be a blessing, because as I was sharing information on how I went from zero, and I'm not quite at 100, but again, I went into it as if I was a guy who never DJed before, who started from scratch, even though I had the skills down, and even though I had somewhat an idea of how to play good music to people. But being a mobile DJ, I was raw and I had to really learn, like I was a beginner. And so I was running to a lot of young cats who just started DJing 15 years ago, or older guys like me who were just getting back into it. I decided to come up with a guide or a strategy or a coaching program that will help guys accelerate.
You know what? Pause for just a second. I'm glad you said that. Because I want to get y'all's opinions. Number one, when you say $100, $200 DJs.
Right.
But you said something that's very important, and I tell people all the time. What is your opinion on? And I'll get both of you guys. Let's start with you, Gaines Bond. What is your opinion on someone that's DJing a club for $150, $200?
My opinion in terms of should they do it, should they not do it?
No, your opinion off the muscle. What do you when you hear somebody DJ a club for 5 hours for $150? What's the first thing that comes to your mind?
They must be starting out.
Okay. What about you, Travis?
Well, yes, if you're just starting out, but it's all in your strategy and marketing. What I've uncovered is that there are two types of DJs. Is that you have a service DJ and then you have an artist. Okay. And so an artist is a guy who's his job to attract an audience. A service DJ, his job is not to attract the audience. The audience is already attracted by the planner, the bride, the person that's having a birthday.
Good point.
So if you're providing a service, then only thing you're responsible for is entertaining the crowd.
Well, you said something that touches a lot. It touches me because I tell people all the time. You said, no matter what that person is DJing for, even if it's $50, sharing the knowledge, and you willing to say, hey, this is what you should be doing, or opening the door up so they can kind of learn, no matter how good they are or not. Right. Sharing that knowledge, because a lot of DJs will talk and say, hey, DJ, and they undercutting. You don't understand their struggle. You don't know what they're going through, but are you willing to show them the way? Are you willing to put the red carpet for them? Because we've all been there, It may not have been at that level, but we've all been there at that $100, $200 rate. You got a college DJ. You don't know, he might be eating oodles or noodles. He might be eating, and that $100, if he's 4 times a week, $100 a week, $400 a month, you don't know what he's doing with that. So
$200 a month is $800, and you can afford a Bugatti at $800 a month.
Right. So
I'm just saying, you it's all in how you look at it. Right.
That's why I asked that, because you said that a lot of people don't say that. They always, bash the DJ that's DJing for a lower level than them, and I'm just so against that, because number one, you just open the door, show them the way, especially if they're good, put them under your wing, because you can probably make money with them alongside of them. That's just my take on it, and I'm glad you said, you just be like boom, 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 touch it. I'm like, go to man. I'm glad he said that. Now, as far as let's go wedding DJs.
Right.
First, I'm going to say you have to be versatile, period. But you have to know how to market to whatever demographic you're attempting to entertain. I was on a podcast 2 weeks ago, and this is another mistake a lot of guys make. You post the content that you want to attract.
Right.
If you're not attempting to do the trap clubs, don't
Yep.
post a lot of the
Don't
trap
post it.
material. But if
Yep.
you want to do the high-end weddings, that's the material that you
Yep.
post.
Exactly.
And I took that down, and that was just last week, and I'm like, you know what? Damn, he was 100% on point.
Yeah.
What's your take on that, Gaines?
Nah, I mean, you could only skin a cat so many ways. So of course, you're gonna post to what you want to attract. So again, the high end, post high end, and or create a separate page. So that way you don't have to change anything. You can keep that content on this page and the higher end content on another page.
Now I got 2 pages too. It's hard to maintain, but no, it's right, and that touched me. That hit me hard. That hit me hard. So, say for instance, I do have 2 pages. I have the DJ Mark J Experience. You will see certain content posted on that page.
Yeah.
And then I have the DJ Mark J, the Instagram. You see certain content posted on that page. And then there's one I post everything.
Yeah.
It is hard to maintain, but it is what it is.
Right.
You whatever you're trying to attract, you don't want to, if you're trying to attract high end, you don't want to put all club
Right.
material on there.
Yep. And I advise guys to not put any of their equipment and even their skills in their marketing. Like I have a friend of mine I've been coaching on improving his business because he looks at the type of gigs I do and he says, well, man, how come you get all these good gigs? And I went through his timeline and he posted how many speakers he's got, or he shows his setup of what equipment he owns. And the average planner or even the person at the party, they think all of us are good, Mark. They think they don't see you any better than me or Gaines. They see DJs and they expect us to be good. Like when you see a police officer on the street, he's a police officer. It isn't like one guy is a better police officer than another guy. You expect him to do his job, like doctors and lawyers. They all went to school, so they all must know the same law. People perceive us the same way. So what separates you and me is the type of events that I do. Okay. And so,
say that one more time. Say that one more time for me. Say that one more time.
What separates you and me is the type of events you and I do. If I'm always posting the ratchetness at the clubs that I do, then the promoters are going to see me and they say, well, he ain't got nothing but ratchet chicks at his club.
Right.
Or he don't have any ratchet chicks at his club. Either way they want to proceed. Right. And so
and nothing against the trap clubs. Let's get
right.
That's right. Nothing against the trap clubs. We're just talking about different categories and ways to market yourself within those categories.
Yeah.
Now, question for both of you guys.
Also, before we get there,
let's go.
The content that you do post, you could box yourself into that, like you said. So if you only post wedding things, then they're gonna think you can't turn up in the club, and vice versa. If you only turn up in the club, then they're gonna think you're not fit to do their wedding. So you have to be cognizant of that as well.
Right.
Absolutely. Now, I want to ask both of you gentlemen a question as experienced DJs that I respect. Skill set versus marketing. Skill set versus marketing. What is most important? I'm going to say to you personally. Let's go with you, Travis.
Oh, wow. That's a loaded question. And I guess me pausing, you know what my answer is going to be right now. To me, skill set should be just a natural thing that you do. It should be a natural. You shouldn't ever have to say, again, back to the doctor and the lawyer. A doctor should never have to brag that he can scalpel you and put the stitches in without showing any marks. A DJ shouldn't have to brag that he knows how to crab scratch or, so I'm a marketing person. That's just how it is. But I'm going to practice. I'm going to make sure my standards is where it should be, because people already expect me to be good. So I don't really have to show that I'm good in any marketing material. They already expect it. And if I fall flat on my face, then that's my fault. It's not really the client's fault.
Okay. How about you, Mr. Bond?
I'm going to go with marketing. Is that what Is that what Travis is saying? Marketing or skills?
I'm a marketing person.
So your answer is marketing?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. I'm gonna go with marketing because you could be a skilled DJ, but if no one knows you, you're not going to be booked. Whereas if you got the excellent marketing and you're already skilled, then that takes you to the next level. So you will stay consistently booked. So marketing would be my answer. Also, too, as someone is saying, branding is important as well, but that's more secondary to marketing first.
I think marketing gets you the gig, skill set gets you referrals. Because if you have the gig and you have the skill, well, if you have the gig, obviously you got the gig, you're paid and so forth. But if you have the skill set and the entertainment value, you're entertaining for all those people that you're performing for right there. That gets you the repeat business, the referrals and stuff like that. So executing it, and that's where the skill set comes in. But I do think marketing is the key to making max money.
Mm-hmm.
Not all money, but max money. And to touch on what Neil's saying, he says branding is more important than skill set. However, you still need to practice the craft.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, branding, that's the kind of where, I mean, you should have pride enough to be the best that you can be.
Right.
But it should be all what you bring to the table. I get guys all the time that I call it the juggler crew. These guys that swear out that they the best DJ because they can juggle, but you put them in front of a corporate audience and they can't hold that crowd down. The corporate audience ain't interested in you juggling except at the end of the night. How many of y'all do that end of the night routine? Do y'all still do that? Like I'm an end of the night routine DJ versus during the party DJ.
Man, I think everyone's
moderation.
Yeah, it depends. I have a format that I do because I'm gonna start it, I'm gonna climax it, and depending on what time it ends, I'm gonna know how to roll it off. And I'm never rolling off with the ratchet stuff, never rolling off with you twerking. It's gonna be, it's almost time to go, but you gonna have fun on the way out the door.
Right.
That kind of thing. But I want to hit something though real quick. E1, shout out to my man DJ E1. And I know we're going back to the clubs.
Mm-hmm.
This is a huge question, and I hope I have some promoters. I know some promoters. I know my man Funk Motor's probably listening. I know Levi's probably listening. How do you guys feel about a percentage of the bar as a DJ?
Well, that's the culture I came from.
Okay.
Where the first era, remember I was talking about the era who had the most equipment was the top DJ. And where I'm from, the DJ is the promoter, or he had a promoter on his team, and they were a whole entity of a business where the DJ was the attraction to the club, not the club booking the DJ. The club, he was just the guy who owned the building and managed the bar. He might have provided security or that sort of thing. But where I'm from here in North Carolina, at least in the southern part, in the rural areas, the DJ is the attraction and not the club.
Okay. How about you, Mr. Bond?
It really depends on the situation. But if you feel you can draw the crowd, then take a percentage of the bar. If you want steady money, then you'll just take what they offer or what you negotiate, and that's it.
Okay. Does a good, say for instance, mainly right now, and we talked about this in one of our nightlife conversations in the city. Most of the clubs now, I can't even call them clubs. They're restaurants. They're family restaurants that have evolved into musical entities that act as clubs,
Right.
which are not designed to give a DJ a portion of the bar.
Right.
So does that change your answer or does it keep it the same? Because at a club, I understand the promoter club, boom, we get a piece of the bar, we get the door, blah, blah, blah. Got that. But now in an Applebee's, in a Fridays, how does that change the dynamic of how you think?
Well, for me, I would never do a bar or a restaurant or a club on a Friday and Saturday night.
Okay.
That would be my corporate or my main night. But on a Monday, Tuesday, or Wednesday, I would take a $200 gig all day.
Okay.
One, it allows me to practice. Two, $200 a week is $800, and like I said, you can afford a Bugatti at $800 a month.
You want a Bugatti, huh?
Stuck on that Bugatti.
Yeah, you want one, huh?
What do you
No,
drive,
I'm just
Travis?
saying,
We want to know.
I mean, when you look at $800 a month, you can buy anything on a lot. Especially, you see, for me, I have my own business too. So where I am now, DJing is extra, not necessarily my primary thing. Well, it's a third of my revenue, but it's not my in everything. So, but $800 a month on like I DJ on a Monday night, you know, that's easy money. Whether I can sit at home watch Netflix, or I can go practice for 3 hours, you know, and build my skill set up, build a following. So when I do get to Friday and or Saturday night, I can charge more. You know, that's kind of what my marketing strategy is, where I'm at right now as far as my career.
All right. Say, for instance, a Fridays or Applebee's paid you premium rate. Any restaurant paid you premium rate on a Friday or Saturday. How would that change the way of how you think?
It would have to, you know, it's just not my marketing strategy. You know,
Okay.
I have my Friday night mix show, which that is that's like 3 hours of a free commercial. It's an infomercial.
Okay.
And so that's how I market myself, to be able to charge more value and be more consistent, you know.
Gotcha.
So, but again, I'm towards the end of my run versus where I'm in the middle of it. So I can pick and choose where I want to do what I want to do and where I want to go with it. So
gotcha.
I'm more on the artist side of things than I am on the mobile DJ side where I'm at right now.
Okay. How about you, Mr. Bond? How do you think?
So ask us the question again for our viewers and listeners.
Well, the last one was, how would you feel about a restaurant, because you do DJ restaurants, right?
Yeah.
Okay. If they were paying you premium rate, because of course it originated off the percentage of the bar. Then again, we've evolved it into restaurants, which are not designed to give a percentage of the bar because they're in restaurants. How would you feel if a restaurant venue was paying you premium rate? Premium meaning your consistent rate, what you put on the contract, what you charge every private individual for DJing per hour. How would you feel about that? Opposed to a percentage of the bar.
No, I take my steady rate in the beginning. I you know, maybe sign a 3-month contract or something like that to feel it out, to see what's what, and then revisit that.
Yeah.
And go from there is what I would do. I wouldn't just say, oh yeah, let me get my rate, because you know, the better you do, the more people they keep coming back, and then the bar starts making more money, and then you stuck at your premium rate, which is great. However, you missed out on an opportunity. So it depends on, you know, on your financial situation. Like Travis said, he might be closer to the end of his. Let's say I'm in the middle. So maybe I wanna gamble a little bit, whereas he might want something secure, whereas you just want the bar. So it really depends on your personal financial situation to determine which way you want to move with that. Now, my situation, like I said, the 3 months first, let's see, because you know what, I might not even want to do it after 3 months. So we could see there, but I do know that it'll be a guaranteed thing. So that's the way I would structure it.
Yeah.
Both of y'all have business responses, because you see Travis calculated 200 times $4, $800 a month. That pays a bill. That's business. Okay. And you talked about levels. It's levels to it. No matter whether you're in a restaurant, club, wedding DJ, there's levels to it. So I'm going to say very good business responses, because those are the responses that I would have gave as well.
Yeah, and it's where you ought to be. If I was just starting out, man, you know, again, I truly believe a DJ pay his worth is how many people he brings through the door. That's just my fault. This is how I was brought up. I know it's not like that with everybody. You know, some people charge by the number of equipment they bring and the number of lights they set up and how much gobo projectors they got, and you know, that's just not, you know, how I was brought up. I was brought up by, you know, if you brought in 50 people, you got $50. If you brought 500 people, you got $5,000. And so that's just my mindset. And so if I'm not bringing the crowd, then and that's on me. That's not on the bar or the nightclub.
And that's one thing I have done different from, and I guess DJs are different. Even though I've had Applebee's DJs for Applebee's and Fridays for years before COVID, years, but I never did a contract. The reason why, um, I wanted to show them my value, per week. Because if you decide to go with somebody else, I don't have a problem with that because I'm gonna get booked somewhere. However,
Right.
I also wanted the option, like Mr. Bond said, if I decided to go somewhere, because if someone gave me a better deal, even though I'm loyal, I've never had to cross that, but that's just how I decided to do things, on my end, because it's they're family restaurants.
Right. Yeah. I mean, but again, it is a lot of struggle and a lot of challenges in DJing bars and restaurants like that, in which it would Friday night would not work for me. That just but a Tuesday night, if a bar wanted to pay me to DJ, I mean that's easy money, but not on a Friday, Saturday night.
Gotcha.
But like I said, for me, one of the things, we talk about DJing for exposure. I wouldn't do a bar or a nightclub for exposure, but I would do a concert show or an event for an exposure. And I did that when I was making a little bit of a comeback for myself about 15 years ago. Keith Sweat was doing his Fresh Fest concert. He had SWV, he had Guy, he had I forgot who else he had, but it was like a Fresh Fest tour. And I was working on the marketing side of the radio station, and so I was calling around my local DJ friends and said, "Hey man, my promoter, he needs somebody to open up, play 45 minutes before the show starts."
Mm-hmm.
I was calling around all my guys. "Hey man, come and DJ, come DJ, come DJ. I got 4 tickets for you." They were like, "Nah, man, I'm not doing that. They gotta pay me a grand. They gotta pay me. Keith Sweat got all this money, blah blah blah." So it got closer and closer to the showtime, and I couldn't find nobody. I said, "Okay, so I'm gonna bring my little controller." I had a little Hercules controller, and I brought the Hercules controller. They set me up right at the sound guy, and as people were walking in, I was playing music. And the guy gave me 4 tickets with extra tickets, whatever. As people were walking in, they was looking up at the podium. Now I wasn't on stage. I was where the sound guy was in the middle of the arena. As people were walking in on the lower level, they was like, "Oh man, that's Travis. There's Travis DJing." Man, people still know me for that. You know what I mean? Now my value has increased from just that 45 minutes, and I still get opening opportunities all the time. And now I do a First Friday event, in which from that event I did 12 years ago, that people now I'm like the go-to guy for concerts and shows. And typically that happens on a Friday night.
Okay.
Which is my throwaway. Friday night is kind of like my throwaway night. And that's the night where I pick my spots,
Right. That's perfectly.
Personally, I would have taken that 45 minutes for exposure, for content.
Yeah.
So you could have gave me the 4 tickets as payment, and I would have been okay with that.
Yeah.
Because you're in the center of everything.
Yeah.
Of course, you could probably go back there, get a picture with Keith,
yeah,
and whoever else. So the value, see, people don't associate, or they disassociate price and value.
Yeah.
So things like that is what will make you miss out on an opportunity, because you're looking at the price of something versus the value of it.
Yeah.
I'm loving this, because y'all giving some good business answers. I'm loving it. I'm loving it.
That's pretty much it. Personally, Travis, you can call me. I'll come down there. I'll do the 45 minutes. It's a little job, but I'll be down there. All right?
I have a comment. My man Reggie Mack, DJ Mac Funk, an uncle in the game right here in the city. He says, "I believe the bar should only be used to negotiate your pay by the amount of people you attract to the house. But the ABC board is tough, which we all know. So leave that alone." I mean, excellent comment. We all know how the ABC board is. Promoters, I don't know how they feel about that comment, because and here we like to play devil's advocate. We don't want to talk strictly in the DJ's favor. Promoters, they looking for it to maximize their bag. We get that.
Right.
But one thing I will say is that promoters do need to respect the game and what we bring to the table.
Mhm.
You know, because without good music, without good connections with people, without good promotion, without marketing, you know, nobody's gonna stay in there drinking that extra drink,
Right.
that extra hour that calculates, you know, that puts some money in that the additional revenue into that register.
Mhm.
So um it's a
Well,
it's a business for them as well. So shout out to all my promoters out there.
well, if you're starting out, I mean, if you're starting out, if you're trying to break into a market, like I don't know nothing about the Richmond market. So
Mhm.
if I can come into Richmond and say, hey, man, I'm the greatest DJ in Raleigh, Durham, man, y'all got to pay me. I got to come in and grind, or I got to position myself in Raleigh, Durham. If when the promoter comes through Raleigh, Durham and say, hey, man, I want to bring you to Richmond, then I might can bring my ego, charged by my ego. But honestly, when I go into a new market, man, I'm the new guy. I'm the new guy on the block, you know. And so, but again, I don't want to pigeonhole myself into a bar club guy. 'Cause that's really not my thing. But you know, unless I was starting out, I pretty much wouldn't work with a promoter, unless he was really at a swanky spot or if he was really going to do something that was going to impact my career. But I wouldn't. I want to deal directly with the bar owner or maybe the bar manager. You know, that person has a lot of weight in a venue, but I don't see myself working with a promoter.
I
You know,
feel you.
unless
When you
he's
do,
swanky, unless you know he got dimes walking lined up around the building, you know, that kind of
I
thing.
know that's right. It is funny that you say that as well because Gaines Bonds, I DJ'd in Maryland, Brandywine, Maryland. Shout out to Piano Keys. They gave me an opportunity. When you are the new guy and they don't know you,
Yeah.
it's hard. No matter how popular you are in
Yep.
one area, you move to a different area. It's
It's like nobody.
a little bit different. They treat you like a scrub, and you have to. It's a proving ground, which I don't mind. You know, because if I get the stage, then I know what I'm gonna do with it. You know, so then everyone else hopefully have to worry about either comparing or and if they're better than me, okay, hey, don't use me anymore. But it's that's difficult, and that was right now I'm going through that. It's hard for me not being the guy. Hey, this is who I am. Here's my track record. They don't give a damn.
Nope.
Don't give a damn. But you said something. I think both of y'all touched on it in a sense. When it comes to marketing to your area, you got to do your research.
Mm-hmm.
You said check out the area. You have to do your research.
Yeah.
Clients hiring DJs, you have to do your research.
Yeah.
Just because you see them on Facebook, the marketing may look good, but do your research to make sure I'm the right DJ for
Yeah.
you.
Yeah. Because in some areas are more skill driven, and other areas are more professionalism. You know what I mean? We're here in Raleigh, Durham. It's two different environments. In Durham, it's more skills driven, and it's more of the culture of the people that comes to the event. In Raleigh, Durham, they expect a little more professionalism in your setup and how you present yourself. Like for me, I don't play dirty songs, so in Raleigh, I get away with that no problem. But over in Durham, you know, they want to hear the dirty stuff. And so, and even though I'm the Sinbad of DJs, you know, every so I gotta when it gets about 12:30, I gotta turn up a little bit. So it's just all in the strategy of the marketing.
How do you feel about dirty music, Gaines Bond?
Personally, I don't like it.
Okay.
I play it, but if I had the choice, I'd play clean versions always. I'm sick of hearing all of those words.
If you're playing a good set, some people won't even notice whether it's clean or
Yeah,
dirty.
no, that's what I mean.
Yeah.
Personally, that's what I said personally. In the club, I'm gonna burn them up all day
Yeah.
long because I know that that's what they want to hear. Myself, clean.
Gotcha. Because I have to remind myself to download the dirty version of songs because I'm a clean bass DJ.
Right.
It is what
One,
it
one of the
is.
things that I found that guys that play dirty, and I want to knock all the dirty guys, is it's somewhat of a crutch. And I pride myself on having really great transitions. And so a lot of the I hate to say competition because I don't think I have any, but a
Right.
lot of my competitors who play dirty, who swear by dirty, their transitions don't flow. You know what I mean? And so I stand above because my transitions are so tight that they say, okay, well, he's doing something a little different. Where the guy who just playing dirty stuff, he just getting the emotion of the crowd, which is okay, but it just, it's just not my crowd to begin with. Every so often I'll let a few slip. Some songs you have to play the dirty version, but I space it out to where it ain't my thing.
Got to play
it.
That's what. that's crazy. Yeah, that's well. I guess it depends on where I'm at, but I do mostly right now. I do most of private events and mostly weddings.
Right.
So, but let's dig into and that Games Bond. This will be a category for you, the wedding DJ scene, marketing the wedding DJ scene versus the club. I want you to touch base on what you do over and beyond the average individual for your wedding marketing.
Well, for weddings are different. They want proof. So you need to have some sort of website that looks good, because a lot of the weddings, and when you get into them upper ones where they're paying $3,000, $4,000, $5,000, yeah, word of mouth is okay, but you could be a terrible individual. However, if your website is fire, they're gonna book you based off of that, because they feel like you're more legit as opposed to someone without a website. That's the first thing they ask you. Well, do you have a website? Oh no. Oh, okay. Well, we'll call you back, or something along those lines. So, that marketing is based on the website by itself. A flyer is cool, but the website is what sells it.
And what area are you based out of right now? Is it PA?
Yeah, I'm in Pennsylvania.
Okay.
Central Pennsylvania.
Gotcha. What are your thoughts on the wedding marketing side, Mr. Gales?
Of course, where you network matters and how you network matters. I mean, website is definitely the proof of it all. But I think if you're listening right now, and one of the marketing things I talk about in one of my chapters, my guide, is who you network with. And so I'm finding that a lot of guys in the groups I'm in network with other DJs, and they get their referrals from other DJs. When I think the best person to network with is the caterer. The caterer, to me, is the best referral I get. And I still network with other DJs. I still network with planners, event planners, venue owners. But the caterer, they usually get really good gigs, and they always get asked, do you know any DJs? And usually the really high-end events where you just show up with your vest and your bow tie, and you spend for 2 hours for $1,000 for some corporate event, the caterer gives me more love than Gigi, the wedding planner.
Me personally, I'm starting to hit or trying to get attached to photographers.
Yep, photographers could work too. It just photographers it really depends on two. The only thing that makes me mad about photographers, they get paid 3 times more than you get paid. His check is at $5,000 to $10,000, where your check is at $1,500. You'd be like, and I actually now I have me a camera now. I add that to my service now. Yeah, I'm gonna get my camera out too.
I was about to pull my camera. I have a camera out here or on me. It's a Sony mirrorless, but I can't use it because if I'm DJing, I can't film myself. Oh,
there's a way to do it. But when guys are buying, lighting and smoke and 360 photo booths, man, my Canon camera gets me another $300 to $400 just walking around, snapping intimate shots. And then at the end of my show, it takes a couple days to chop up the pictures. I send them a thank you. I send them a link with about 25, 30 pictures. And I've already upcharged them to say, hey, I'm going to shoot pictures through the night. And so I usually get about anywhere from $250 to another $500 for that.
Okay.
So that has been my secret sauce to making more money, in addition to setting up lights and all that kind of stuff, which is not my thing anymore.
Before you read Reggie Max,
okay.
E1 had a question, and it just says, "How do you all feel when you're doing a family event and kids are there, and the person that hired you wants to hear WAP?" So, personally, again, if I'm doing a family event, they could request whatever they want.
Yeah.
I'm in control of the music, and
Yeah.
when you're booking such events, you should let them know. Let's say if you accept the playlist or must plays or what have you. When you're doing community events, you don't. But if you had an overzealous person that wanted to do that, that's fine. But
Yeah.
also in your contract, you should let them know that even though you suggested these songs, I still have the final say in what songs get played. So you can put WAP on there, and that's fine, and you can request. However, I have the final say so. So if they agree to that, that removes any liability of you playing or them telling you to play it, even though they paid you. You take care of all that in the beginning, so you don't have to worry about it.
Yeah. I agree with that too, wholeheartedly. Is I'm in control of what I play.
That's a tough one. Reason being that most professionals, such as especially the guys on this panel, are asking the right questions prior to the event. Because if it's a WAP type of event, I'm probably not the guy for you.
Yeah, but WAP wouldn't be in a community event though.
Yeah. Well, exactly.
Which is what the question asks. So it's really irrelevant.
Yeah, I got
Yeah,
you.
that's now that Sexy Red is starting to creep up potentially.
It is. I had to play that on Friday, but they're clean versions, and it's
Well,
I still wouldn't play that at the community event.
we're not at a community. No, this was
right. No, sir.
This was a graduation party.
I have a 1 a.m. playlist that I might slip that. It just depends on who's in the party. If the ratchetness is in the party, I'll slip that out. But I would never play the clean version of that. I just wouldn't play it at all. If I am going to play it, I am going to play the dirty version, but it's going to be like way at the end of the night. Like, okay, I'm going to give it to you now since you're still here.
I'm gonna read Reggie's post Sexy Red comment. The best DJ can play for anybody, 8 to 80, blind, cripple, or crazy. I got one can sub or fill in for any of my DJ partners. Oh, okay, I got you. Yeah, okay, he can fill in for anyone. What or how they want it, but they will be taking and getting it on what I give them. That's the real skill. The secret is always to play for the ladies, and I'm gonna get them. That's a good formula. That's a good formula.
Yeah, I mean, of course, you get the ladies to the floor, the guys will follow. So it's just how it goes.
And that's a
and it's now here in Raleigh, Durham, for some reason, dancing is not a thing anymore. It's all about the vibe now. The dancing has gone away. They still dance at weddings and younger events, but the bar club scene is all about vibe.
a table dance, chair dance, seats be warm as hell.
It's a weird kind of, and I'm actually cool with it because it actually opens up my playlist more because you're not sitting here thinking like, what am I going to play after the wobble, or what am I going to play after Beyonce's hit song, Single Lady. I'm not that I play those songs, but you know what Games probably know what I'm talking about when you're saying, okay, what are the next 3 songs I'm going to play to hold this dance floor, versus when you're just in a bar in a nightclub and you can get away playing songs that you're not concerned with people dancing. You're just trying to play your set, So that's what I kind of look for as an artist DJ versus a mobile DJ.
The vibe is the key to the money. If they vibing in their seats, what they doing? Ordering drinks.
Yeah. And those are the type of events I look for too.
Yeah, it should be a promoter's ultimate formula to have a DJ with a good vibe that's connecting with people, because if they are in those seats, whether they toe tapping, whether they're bopping their heads, if they're on the floor, technically they're not drinking. You know what I'm saying? So I ain't gonna say it's a double-edged sword. I love to see the vibe.
Right.
The vibe, people, and you talking to them and you say put your hands in the air, everybody's hands in that, they with you.
Right.
And
the thing about it, men are not dancing. I think it's the men. I think the women still want to dance. I think the men are so strip club, they so strip club mindset that they don't dance anymore. So that's how we got into this line dancing. The only way you can get people on a pack of people on a dance floor. And so But I think it's the guys. I think they just tapped out of dancing.
Well, I'm about to post something on the screen. I need to know how you guys feel about it. I've been struggling with this for about, I'm gonna say, how long has this song been out? The Wobble.
How do I feel about it?
How do you feel about it when you see that word?
Of what? I mean,
Wobble.
I mean it's a great song. It's a great floor filler. That could get the crowd going, especially like at weddings and things like that.
Yeah.
Community events as well. That's gonna get them right on the dance floor, and you keep it moving from there.
I do try to challenge myself to see how long I can play before I have to play a line dance. I do make a game out of it.
I'm all for line dancing.
But let me tell you, the spot that I play at on Monday nights, they have a once a month college night in which I open up for the college DJ that comes on after me. And the generation of kids 25 and under, they grew up on line dancing, in which I didn't, Mark. I didn't grow up on line dancing. Line dance is a new thing to me for my generation. But the kids that group that comes to this event, they're now 18, 19, 20, 21, whatever. They grew up on line dancing. That's their thing. And so it ain't old to them or unusual to them, and it just amazes me that the song that I was playing to these kids when they were 12 and 13 at the middle school, that's their song now at the club. I'm like, what? Wait, I was playing that for you at your 14-year-old birthday party. Now you're 22, and that's their old school. It's shocking to me. So
what, the Wobble?
No, like what's that song? Teach Me How to Dougie. Right?
Oh, yeah.
That's in my mind, that's a kid's song. But to a 22-year-old, 23-year-old, that's their jam back in the day.
Correct.
What's the other guy? What's the internet guy? The YouTube guy? Stinky Leg. What's his name? Stinky Leg and Juju on the Beat. What's his name?
Yeah.
I know the song.
What's another song? That's their old school, like just our 90s hip hop. That's their whatever era they're from. When you play those songs, I'm like, wait, y'all listen to that when y'all was 8 years old, and now y'all 25, and that's like y'all jam.
Well, I tell you what surprises me. If you even playing for a younger crowd, even if you get them in your back pocket, you'd be surprised at the older songs that they know.
Well,
that's in part, if I may, really quick, to TikTok. Go ahead, Travis.
Yeah. Right now, they are TikTok is their thing. You better get your TikTok collection up. But they do like 80s R&B,
right?
More so than the 90s R&B that we think is hot. And when I play Michael Jackson and Prince in that whole era, my 20-year-olds love it. Versus the Jodeci and the Biggie and the Tupac and the Snoop Dogg.
I think you have to play it at the right time if it's a younger party. Because if you play that, now this is my experience. If you play it at the start, they think, being an older guy, you're an old school DJ. But if you hit them with this, hit them with that, then reel it back after you got them, straight success. Straight success.
I don't know, man. When I play Michael Jackson Rock With You, they like it. I'm talking about college age. They like
it. He's saying more so in the beginning, depending on where you're gonna play it.
Right. I don't know, man. When I play 80s music to college kids, they love it.
In the beginning, if the event starts at 9, are you starting with that?
Well, my style, I play everything. So
right, but what are you starting with? You got about 50 people walking in, right, all at the same time. What are you starting with?
Well, here's the thing. I'm a BPM DJ.
Right.
So I'm not a hit-driven DJ. So Beyonce has Cuff It at 115.
Correct.
But there's also Uptown Funk at 115.
Correct.
And there's also I'm just throwing this on Commodore's
Brick House.
See, that's all still in this. See, I'm throwing all that in my sauce.
Right, but what are you starting with?
Oh God,
that's the question, because that's what Mark is saying. Yeah, you can hit them, but if you start them with the 80s, they're gonna associate you with being.
I get that. I hear what you're saying.
You know what I mean?
It's really all in the BPM. So I just look at the energy of the room and I say, okay, you know, if I'm in a trap setting, then I'm starting at 70 BPM.
No, but event starts at 9. 15 people walk in. What are you starting with? You. And we can't. No. I can't let you get away with this one. That's what I'm saying. What are you starting with?
What's the age group again? What's the setting?
I don't know, Mark. What's the setting?
All right. College graduating from Norfolk State University.
All right, college graduation. Wow, that's
so that puts them 17, 22, 23 years old.
And they're still waiting around for the trap music. They're still waiting around for the WAP to show up at some
Right.
point.
So while Travis is thinking, I would start. My very first song would be Trey Songz Say Ah.
Yeah.
Right there. That way, right? They familiar with Trey's VA, what have you. I would start right there and work my way.
See, I would do all the Chris Browns and DJ Mustard flavor. I would just with all the Chris Browns, the Doja J, you know, I would stay right there with the Ushers.
Sure.
Right in at 97 to 103. I would kind of hover in that. That's really my start out BPM.
My start out would be I'm practicing. I am playing the Chris Browns, the Trey Songz, but I'm just practicing getting the flow, and I'm looking at eyes, gauging where my energy is going to come from, and all that stuff.
Right.
And then once you get them, you know.
Yeah, but we talking about your opening song. We ain't talking about once you get them. We said, what's your first song? Yeah, I keep skipping that. What is your first? I thought my first Say Ah.
No, this is no lie, no cap. I never ever have put a set together. When I open my computer, I scroll to my BPMs, and whatever song I like, I'm playing.
Right.
I swear, and it. I mean, or sometimes like when I'm on the way, I hear a song. I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna throw this joint on first.
Right.
You better be a Mary J. Blige, whether it be anything. I'm gonna just throw that on first, and then just start from there. Just because I'm more of a have to connect with you. It's mandatory that I connect with whomever, whether it be 5 people, 50 people, 500 people. I got to connect with you to see exactly what I'm working with, so I'll know where to punch.
Right. The sweet spot for me, and that wasn't my era, is the 2K era, and that was the era I ignored the most when I had took my little layoff from DJing. I really wasn't in the clubs. I wasn't doing mobile DJing, but I was hearing these songs on the radio and I knew them. But when I got back into DJing, all I knew was the 90s and what was out at the time. And I had this really hole in my set. But people was coming up to me and said, can you play more 2K, more Fat Joe? And I can't think of somebody, some more Usher and that kind of stuff.
Ja Rule, Ashanti.
Yeah, Ashanti. I didn't realize how much that 30-year-old love Ashanti.
Sure.
You know, but she ain't in my generation, but white chicks love her. The chicks love her. That's their Mary J. Blige. I didn't realize that. And so I'm a 2K guy now. So I started all my sets with 2K, and then I can go either way depending on how the crowd flows with me.
Got you. He says 11 or 12. And Frank, this DJ Nitty, he's a younger DJ. So he's talking about when we were talking about the printing of Michael Jackson. Reggie Mack says, Travis, I'll be in Raleigh October 5th, 7th, 6 and 7.
Gwen at Blue Exes. Okay. Yeah. Me and Gwen is trying to work out something. That's a nice little spot. So you DJing for her? Was Reggie Mack? Is he going to DJ for her?
Looks like he's going to be DJing. Skills is from VA. He said, "What Skills?"
Yeah, I was with Skills a week. I didn't DJ with. I've never DJ with him, but I be at a lot of events he is. And Dynasty 5 is a client of mine. I've been clients with them for 20 years and stuff. And we were all honored in Raleigh with the 50th hip hop anniversary. Dynasty 5, Skills, and Skills' manager is one of my best friends, ET. And and then the Soul Picnic that Dynasty 5 does, I think it's June 6th. The Soul Picnic they do annual every year. I DJ there, but Skills is the headline. If you remember, I'm the opening DJ. That's my thing. I'm the opening act DJ. And so wherever Skills is, I'm usually the guy who warmed up the crowd, or at least DJ the day before or the day party before, and then he's always been the headline.
Gotcha.
I'm at right now.
Well, cool, man. Well, I tell you what, it's been it's been real. It's been entertaining. It's been educational for me because I like to learn stuff. Like to learn stuff. Well, I'm gonna let you gentlemen
Well, that's great,
let
man,
people.
and I'm glad you invited me, man, because I joke around on my podcast on Sunday mornings at 10 o'clock that I've never DJ'd outside of the state of North Carolina, and one of the reasons why I want to network with guys outside North Carolina is that maybe Gaines could, have me to open up for him, but carry speakers or something like that, or be his roadie one weekend, you know, maybe
I like setup these days, but you're more than welcome.
get me out of the house. Get me, I'm traveling.
Yeah,
Like I said, I'm gonna be in Richmond, Virginia, somewhere near Richmond, Virginia, in some park. I'm DJing at. So on the 9th of
yeah.
September.
So the Maymont Park.
You know what? I need to read my contract a little closer, but I'm gonna go ahead. I'm gonna let you talk the games for a second while the Pocahontas State Park. Where is that
That's
at?
right down the street from my crib. Yeah. Okay.
I'm gonna
Yeah.
be
Good stuff.
there. I'm gonna be there the 9th. So maybe I can find me a little bar the day before they'll let me DJ for $100.
Yeah, well, let me know. Keep me posted
Exposure.
as to when you coming through, and we can Mike can work that out for you. But
Okay.
while you are talking about the things that you will be doing, let's go ahead. Let's tell whether it be my followers, Bond's followers, the people that are watching, the people that will be watching the rebroadcast. Tell them what you're doing, what you got coming up, your social medias. Chat all that information out so people will know exactly where to find you.
All right, Gaines, you go ahead, man, because I've been rambling all night.
All right, that's cool. Well, I am the number one request show on TikTok, and I do that Monday through Friday, 11 a.m. to 2:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So come on in, bring your friends, bring the vibes, and we got you covered. All of my socials are at DJ Gaines Bond, whether it be TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, you name it, at DJ Gaines Bond. And that's about it. Back to you, Mark.
All right, well, go ahead, Travis. Tell the people where to find you, what you got going on, if they can find you Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, or your Sunday morning show. Talk to them.
All right, let's start with Friday nights. I'm on 90.7 FM, WNCU. Every Friday night from 7 to 10, I mix funk, soul, and what we now call new disco. And then the first Friday of every month, I'm at this place called, I do an event called the Playlist Concert Series, where I take my radio show out to this park in Durham, in which we have a live band, and then I host my radio show on Durham Central Park. So Labor Day is going to be the next one. I think that's September 1st. Is that September 1, the first Friday in September? I believe it is. Well, I think that's what it is. That Friday of Labor Day. It's the Durham Playlist Concert Series. It's a free event outside. Then the following day, family event in Greensboro. That's September 1st. September 2nd, family event. And then Sunday, which is the 3rd, I'm going to be at the John Coltrane Jazz Festival. That's an outdoor event. It's a 2-day event, so you can hit that up. The station that I DJ for is a jazz radio station. And so I get a lot of perks from that. But on Friday nights, I do mix funk and disco. And that's what I'm known for, Gaines, here in Raleigh, Durham. And then but on Monday night, I still keep my toe in the streets at the House Restaurant on Ramami Boulevard. And that's Monday night. And it's my practice night, my $200 Bugatti night. And,
Right.
and so that keeps my skills and keep me relevant in the streets. And so and
You
then
got a
and then I
contract
do
for 72 months so you can get the car paid off. Yeah, I did a 72-month contract. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
And then my last thing, Thursday night, I do this trap karaoke show at this place, at this hookah lounge called The Aroma. And so that's going to help me pay my mortgage. And so,
So you need a contract for 30 years. Oh man, y'all
I'm 58, man. I'm gonna be retired in about 4 years, man. So
right.
So I'm trying to, travel, hit the road trip, and meet new people, meet new guys like that. So if I show up at y'all event, man, again, I'm just out hanging out, just having a good time, and just enjoying the last half of my life, man. So I really appreciate you giving me this time.
No, it's
And,
all good, my brother. Much
and
respect.
Gaines, I'm gonna follow you, man, and hopefully there's an opportunity where I can run into you and chop it up with you.
For sure. Likewise.
Yes.
Well, number one, I appreciate you guys, your time, your hour and 30, 45 minutes, whatever we spent on this podcast. I wouldn't have had you on if I didn't respect you, respect what you guys are doing, respect the craft, the skill set, the business, and all the other good stuff. So I appreciate the education that you've laid on this platform that we call DJ's Talk. It's the 4th episode. It's growing. My name is DJ Mark J, the East End's favorite DJ. Follow me on Instagram, follow me on Facebook, follow me on Twitter. Even though I don't tweet nothing, I do have a new venue. It's called the Meraki Gallery. If you're in the Richmond area, it's off of Perm Road. Please check it out. We are booking right now. But the YouTube page is going to grow. So if you are watching the rebroadcast, you're watching live, follow me on YouTube. It's youtube.com/DJ Mark J. We will be migrating this over to that in upcoming weeks. So go ahead and join and subscribe early. We do appreciate you guys' time. If you got any questions, you can post those in the comments because we'll be looking down the line, liking and posting. If you have a subject that you want to talk about or you want to know something about as far as DJs goes, promoters goes, venues goes, post that because we'll get that on and I'll grab some people, whether it be the Richmond area or a surrounding area or worldwide. You never know what we're going to do on this channel. My name is DJ Mark J. I'm signing out. You guys stay tuned for a second. Peace.
Damn, Mars, we find this.